How's it going? It's been quite a while since I have made a video or made an attempt to make a video. I've been busy working and with school, but I've got some cool stuff going on, and kind of an update on what I'm doing. I no longer have the Civic. Well, I technically have it in my possession, but it isn't anything like it used to be. I have a new daily, which is just a daily. I love it. I think it's super nice. It's everything that I wanted, and I'll show you that, and I'll show you some cool shit that I got going on for the RX7. So we'll get into it. So this is the current state of what's left of the Civic. Engine and trans are out. Head is no good. This thread for this valve cover bolt is totally stripped out of the head. Leaks from every single orifice. Full part out, basically. Everything's for sale from the car. There it is, what's left of it. I don't want to show you what I have there on the ground yet, but like here's all the turbo stuff, sound system stuff, intercooler stuff, everything, all kinds of extra parts. That's the new daily. It's a 2003 Chevy Tahoe with a 5.3. It is rear wheel drive, not 4x4, which is okay. I kind of wanted a 4x4, but the price and the condition of this one was just too nice. I will show you that in a little bit, but what I've got going on for the RX-7 is super cool. I'm going to try to dedicate my Saturdays to working on it, or at least a little bit. So I got these. They're 13x7. They are very strange. They're 3-piece welded, something like that. Maybe 2-piece welded, maybe, I don't know. But the offset is wild, and the only brandings on them are Mexico and Renasa, which is apparently, from the limited amount of information I could find online, a kind of like a contracted work thing from BBS in whatever year this was, a while ago. The bolt pattern is 4x114 and 4x108. I have adapters that I will be running, which is what I ran on my Enki Apache 5s, which is what I traded for these. The Enki Apache 5s were weird because 3 out of the 4 wheels were 4x110, and I'm sorry, 3 out of 4 wheels were 4x114, and one of them was 4x110, so that made no sense. They were all the same spec, everything was the same, the offset was all the same. So I had to run adapters and spacers on those anyways to make them match up all the way around. But these are sick. The only weird thing is the faces are aluminum, or some sort of aluminum type of metal, and then the lips are steel. So I will show you what I'm working on with them. They have some rust on them, some surface rust. I don't know if you can really see that. Yeah, you can. Well, with some wire wheeling, and not wire wheeling, some steel wool, and I'm going to try the stuff that I saw on Jay Leno's garage. I kind of sanded it a little bit there, like just to see what would happen. And I don't like how that came out, so I'm going to try to polish that up with some wet sanding and buffing, but with some little bit of elbow grease, I think they'll come out pretty nice. This one I got pretty nice as it is. I don't know, this shit came out so cool though. I'm really excited to see these on the car. I'm going to throw them on the car today because this is pretty rad, like just a deep lip. I've never had wheels with this deep of a lip on them. And these are holding me over until I can rebuild my HRE wheels, which are right here. Here's one of them, very similar style, lips nowhere near as deep, but these are 15-inch wheels. Those are 13-inch wheels, and I believe that these are 15 by 7.5 and then 15 by 8 staggered, or maybe it's 15 by 7 and 15 by 7.5 slightly staggered, with about a half-inch difference in front lip. So that's that. I'm gonna go get this polished stuff and then clean them to the best I can, and then throw them on the car and show you what they look like on the car. I still haven't gotten everything I need for my front weld-on coilovers, but the rears are done for now. I will probably drop down the spring rate that I'm running eventually, because it's just way too stiff for you know what it is. So we will be back. So here's a little look inside the Tahoe. The only weird thing is that they put a little drywall screw right there because these switches break all the time. But it has 164,000 miles, does not look like it, no cracks in the dash. The radio does have the little peeling that they all do, but the seats are in great shape. They normally rip. It's got rear AC controls and all that good stuff. I do want to get some fitted floor mats at some point, but I'm just going to leave it as it is and drive it and enjoy the cold AC. It's got the Bose model sound system, which sounds pretty decent. I'm not going to mess with anything like that. I'm probably just going to get a transmitter for the radio. The only thing I would like to get is they have clusters that you can find occasionally with a transmission temp gauge, either here or here. I would like to just see what that is. We swapped one out on my brother's 07 Chevy Silverado with a 5.3 in it with 4x4, and the trans temp gauge worked on that. It also worked, the same cluster worked on his 2004 Silverado single cab with a V6, so that would be nice to just be able to monitor my trans temps and everything like that. But I'm loving this car so far. No complaints at all. Alright, so been a couple hours working on the wheels and doing a couple little things. They're all done for right this second. There's a couple spots that I gotta go back. I'm gonna bring some Q-tips from my house and get up in the little crevices and stuff like that. Most of them came up pretty good. There's a couple little things that, you know, it is what it is. They're not going to be perfect, but they're pretty sweet. So. Here's 3 of them. Some of them are better than others. Like these 2 are pretty decent, besides like a little corrosion on the face here. I'm going to touch that up with some, you know, the Q-tips, go through, clean it up some more. This one came out really nice, besides like I said, all the little areas that I haven't touched yet. But I'll touch all this stuff up. Yeah, but other than that, they're pretty sick. Now the problem is they're 4x114. I have adapters, but as you can see, it's a little much with the adapter. Like it still isn't, you know, it's just too much. So also the other problem is with the adapters, there's no room on the back. So even though I ground down the heads of these lug studs, or these lug bolts, I mean, they still touch the back of the wheel, so it's kind of pushing it out even a tiny bit more, maybe like a millimeter. But the goal is to either, I don't know what I'm thinking. I was debating on either getting different lug studs, maybe threading some regular studs. I keep calling them lug studs, lug bolts. Getting regular studs and threading them into the hub, and then using some low profile lug nuts that way. Or these things are so tight. Getting rid of that whole idea in general and buying GSLSE hubs, because those are 4x114. And then I have the Racing Beat springs on right now, but that's a good 6 inches, 5 inches, probably like closer to 5 the whole way around. So I have T3 weld-on coil sleeves and springs on my shelf, but I haven't had the time to get new strut inserts and do all that stuff, so I don't want to do anything with it until I figure out what I'm gonna do. If I'm gonna get some GSLSE GSL SE hubs, then I'll wait. This is the limited edition mesh wheel. I have a whole set, but the wheels themselves came out pretty sick compared to how I got them. I'll throw a picture in right now just to show you how rough they were when I got them. So a little bit of elbow grease and, you know, cleaning them up and stuff like that. Still working on the front bumper whenever I can. Sticks out so much though. So without the adapter, the offset would almost be perfect. So I'm thinking that's why I'm leaning more towards GSL SE hubs, because that would eliminate about an inch. So it would, especially once it's lowered, it should be pretty sick. And maybe getting some larger sidewall tires, even though these are good, because these are 175/50 13s. I believe they're 175s. Yes, 175/50 13s. So that's an option. I know I could get some 185/60 13 Federal 595s for relatively cheap, but a 60 sidewall is a little bit bigger than what I would want. Like maybe if I did like a 185/50 or a 185/55, or even like a 195/55-ish. I don't know. We'll have to see, because getting 13-inch tires in general is not the easiest thing in the world. But you can see, like, this one is mostly good except for this section around the lip. It's not bad, definitely not as bad as it was, but it isn't like this. It's cloudy, because before I even figured out what was up with these lips and the fact that they're not, you know, aluminum, I don't know. I just like immediately jumped to like, I know what I can do. I can wet sand this and it'll polish right out. Well, it's not that easy, and I should have just stuck to steel wool and then polished it by hand instead of using, you know, a dual action 2-inch sander and stuff like that. But the faces came out pretty good, besides like this little section here, but that's, you know, that's nice. I'm definitely pleased with these wheels. I think they're going to be sick once I get the car situated. Now for the rear end, I want to pull the car up and throw some on the rear. Not really sure what the deal with that is going to be, because this is a GSL rear end, so 4x110, so I'll have to run the adapters. So I have to see how far it sticks out with the adapter on, and then tape or find a way to temporarily fit on the rear over. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think I am going to make the repairs, get a general shape, and then put it on like they put on over fenders on like 240s and stuff like that, where it's removable. I was going to do steel riv nuts, because the car that I got them off of used normal rivets instead of something steel, and the whatever it's called, electrolysis or, you know, corrosion, happened so badly that those just yanked right off the car pretty much. So I'd like to avoid doing that, and keep like metals together and then seal it all up the best of my ability, to the best of my ability. But this is pretty tight, you know, it's coming out pretty well. Those lips are sick, so stay tuned for more shit. It's probably going to take a while between videos, but this one's kind of long, or it's going to be long by the time I'm done, so yeah, it's pretty rad.